This is a $66, 1,500 watt power supply. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's a really bad idea to try to buy this. But I am! And not only that, Joom has actually teamed up with me for this video, and we're going to remove this from the entire store if it turns out to be a scam. That's right, we're getting back at the scammers. Just a couple things to point out. A quick find command real quick. And we want to see what the rating is. So, as you see, just type rated. We have a serious problem here. There is no rating in this entire description. This will be a very interesting video. Even if I have a house after this. So, in today's video, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go buy this. We're going to have this delivered. We're going to see what it actually is. And I'm putting, actually I'll put the GPU fryer on the, I'll bet the GPU fryer that it is not a 1,500 watt power supply. It might be a 600 watt. And we'll go through and try to test that. So, without further ado, let's put it through the works. So here we are. Here is the 1,500 watt power supply. So a couple things that I noticed is that it looks like it's got support for Core 2 Duo, SATA, all the stuff that is really odd. It says power supply, professional power supply. It says it has Windows Vista support. Anything special on it? No, not really. Okay. Just take this open, I guess. Oh, it looks like on the inside flap, we've got a bunch of different models. So let's take a look at what we got here. We got a power cable. Okay, so this just needs to get thrown out. Let's see if I can make it in the bucket. Nope, I didn't make it, but oh well. Just like they didn't make the grounding pin on that power plug. Okay, guys. So for fully ATX, what we got here? So on the side, we have switching power supply, 1,500 watt. We got 100 watt, 66. Looks like on the two graphics cards, we've got about 1,310 watts on that rail. And then, yeah, let's tear this open. I'm interested to see. So, a couple things I want to point out. First being that there are literally parts from this power supply. Parts of this power supply, either insulation or literal parts in the bag still. The next thing I want to point out is that, I don't know if you guys can hear this on the mic, but it rattles. Next thing I'm going to point out is the fact that there is no rating anywhere on this power supply. So nowhere in this entire thing is there any rating. I think the website said there was a rating of like 80 plus, but nowhere on this power supply does it even say a name. A single brand name. Nowhere on this power supply. It rattles. I mean, overall, the power supply itself, I don't have too many issues with. Let's look at these cables. Sticked up with rubber bands. I'm interested to see what actual cables we get on this. So it's non-modular, which for 60 bucks, I'm not surprised. In here we have the solid, no, not solid. It's actually got a pretty nice, one of the sliding mechanisms, or even, what is this? It's like even nicer mechanism, something that keeps your motherboard connector working all together. So what do we have in here? We have, oh my gosh. So we have the motherboard connector, which I can't get it, just stay over there, come on. Stay over there, you know you can do it. We have the motherboard connector. You have the Molex connectors. You have more Molex connectors. You have a single, mind you, single CPU connector. and two 6 or 8 pin connectors. When the side says that each rail should have, so there should be 2 of these, and they each share that 1,000, or they in total share about 1,310 watts. So right off the bat, I know for a fact that I'm already getting hints that whatever this power supply is, since there isn't necessarily a definite way to test the full power draw just because of the way that there's only I only have so many adapters. Also, there is a pretty much factual evidence that since this is advertising two rails splitting the 1,310 volt watts, 2 rails should be splitting, or 2 wires should be splitting that rail. This is one, and just because it has 2 plugs, that's not that. No. Also, there should, at least on a 1,500 watt power supply, I would say that there should be, it's got something in it too, it's like dust maybe. There should be at least 2 of these with a high-end power supply. This is, if I were to take a guess right now from what I do before I turn this on, I'd have to say it's probably right around maybe a 450 watt power supply that probably costs less than 20 bucks to make. That's just my look at this. There is no brand on this. There is no information whatsoever really about what the power supply is. It's just 1,500 watts on both rails of stuff that doesn't exist. So yeah, my point being, so far in this video, we can already rule out the fact that this is not what's advertised, factually. Either that or it's really stupidly designed. Misadvertised, misadvertised. And we've also got stupidly designed. So we've got 2 of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse already. So now's the stupid thing where we turn this on and try not to die. I hope you guys can appreciate the fact that my newest test system that I shelled out some money for, even though I just actually fried part of it with, well, fried some SSDs because my good power supply from EVGA decided it was just going to die. I just got another test system because, you know, we were testing bad parts a couple other videos ago, and those bad parts fried my other test system. So this is, we're just gonna see if it turns on. I'm interested to see if it even turns on. So I'm gonna get my lovely little jumper connector to at least get it to boot. I do not think that anybody should be putting this in a computer, period. Because if they didn't even have enough money to put something around these cables, or at least paint the color of these cables so it's not rainbow sorted, there's a problem. At least with the larger power supplies that I've looked at, I have a 1,000 watt from Be Quiet back there. The actual power supply itself is substantially smaller, about the size of a 450 watt. It only takes up about half of this is actually what's PCB and actually what's part of the power supply. So it's only about almost half of it is literally just the power supply, and the rest is just added extra. So if I were to bet 450 watt power supply is what I'm expecting. Non-modular cost probably maybe around 20 to 30 bucks. Since this is a cheap one, no name, probably 20 to 30 bucks. And they made a solid $30 profit off of this with misadvertising, as well as pretty much, I don't trust this in a system. It's not rated. But I also am working on a previous video which kind of got sidetracked, which actually was supposed to be today, just because of the fact that this system back here, of course, had its issue. So I'm going to try getting this booting. We'll go from there, and we'll see if it at least turns on. So for the purpose of today's video, this is a jumper connector. This comes pretty much stock with almost any high-end power supply. I want to point out that this is dusty, extremely dusty, which makes me think that not only has this been sitting probably for years, but just also the fact that since this supports Vista, I really would be willing to bet this is a couple years old. We'd be looking at maybe 7 years. I don't even know. If I die, I just want you guys to know. I really enjoyed having you, person watching this video right now. I really want to let you know that the time of this video, it's Christmas Eve. And whenever you're watching this, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh, by the way, do I mention it's turned on at default? Actually, heck, I don't even know if it's. Doesn't even turn on. It doesn't even turn on. So there you have it, folks. The 1,500 watt power supply doesn't even turn on. And I would recommend, in normal video circumstances, when we have a product that comes through here that's a scam, we try to go through and take it apart. But for the nature of this channel as well, I am not that far in electrical engineering, or at least my computer engineering degree. I do know enough sanity, though, that you should not be prying around in a power supply, let alone a power supply that came as a scam that is poorly made, which we can see from the wiring. I'm not prodding around risking my life on Christmas Eve to do this. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you guys can appreciate the fact that for my safety, I'm not doing that. But that being said, please, 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 I'm going to be including a link down below in the description to this posting that advertises 1,500 watt power supply, because it is clearly false. What I had show up in the mail, not true. Also, the plastic wrap itself was already damaged, and it was definitely really cheap, so I would not be surprised had this, been exposed to some moisture, and it is completely toast. Just period. It's completely toast. Not only that, but the actual power supply unit itself is extremely small for what it should be, which really makes me think this is actually a 450 watt power supply. That would make sense for all the wiring. I really, 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 really think that the only difference between what their high-end and low-end models is literally just a sticker. So without further ado, thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy these kind of videos. And as always, thank you guys very, very much for watching. Wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you have a wonderful day, Christmas or not. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a good day.